And so tonight, ladies, we're going to go really, Allie's going to do a channeling on barriers and
Mm.
those limitations and those self-doubts and that literally the barrier reef that we place in our life that we can only stay between the shore and the reef. And there's such an amazing world on the outside of that reef. And what that reef is within us and how we can actually move through that and alchemize it, because this work is all about alchemy and changing from one frequency to another. Do you feel like you need more, Allie?
No, not at all. Um, so I just want to invite you first, ladies, into your bodies and just to remove known or unknown things from your day first and foremost, but just to call you back into your body by dropping your mind to the level of your heart and dropping your mind to the level of your heart. As if there's a pebble that dropped into the water and it's just drifting down, 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 down to a place where you knew it was something and it dissolved into nothing. That place that where you are feeling like you're concentrating on something and then you don't know if you're ADHD, but it just sort of disappears into a new screen, as if we changed the frequency or we opened a portal for you. There you go. And you see how that is actually different than where you started, right? And when we scanned what was needed from our group consciousness, Sean kind of had the imagery of a mermaid, which isn't her first place to go. Like if I say mermaid, we all kind of know, well, you always say that. but but Sean's really more of a a earth fairy. She's like a nature spirit. So when we get called into our watery depths, it's an invitation to see things through that intuitive spirit that is not obvious. So I want to invite you tonight to let things be a little bit less succinct, okay? And for those of us that are literal, right? That's not the easiest place for us to go. And I'm going to bring in that union with spirit that tonight, and I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I really haven't ever spoken this way about obscurity, right? I'm usually talking to the other side of us to bring more clarity, but I want to invite you into the blurred part of yourself. I don't think where Spirit's taking us tonight is supposed to be defined, because we're being called to shift into a new definition of ourselves. How many of you feel that in your own hearts, a general shifting of your personality, not your soul, but your personality is being drawn to shift over into a new way of being? And is that true? Yeah, that's right. And don't you love that it's not clear? I mean, your first instinct might be, no, I don't love that, Allie. I don't love that it's not clear. But after tonight, I think you're going to tell me, I think I know what you're saying. I think I'm glad that I don't know exactly what it looks like. I don't know exactly what it asks for. Because where I'm being taken is somewhere I haven't been before. It's more than I know to ask for. And I've had this inner stirring my whole life to spark a consciousness that I know that is like moonshine within my soul, right? And you know what I'm talking about. It's that excellence that we're always just sort of like grasping at as if it was moonshine, something elusive that is moving every time we step into that self. And so the calling of spirit is inviting us tonight to say, don't try to stay there. Don't try to grab it tonight. Let us show you that it's more about wave and flow. And we're talking about the particle wave, right? So in your mind's eye, imagine that you're looking at a sine wave that just undulates up and down in your mind's eye. And imagine that first sine wave that you see or that you feel, because you might be more of a feeling person rather than a visual person, but get a feel for what it would be like to watch energy undulate. Now, denser energy is going to undulate differently than higher frequency. Not deciding which is better. I want you to do a scan of your own body, of the pace of your own wave. And do you feel that it is consistent? Do you feel that it moves more in an anxious way where it might vibrate with some frequency, intensity, and be kind of jumpy, right? Is your energy low affect where we feel a heaviness or a weightedness? And I'm not talking about grounding. I'm talking about weightedness where it feels heavier or like molasses. Or can you swim through it with a fair amount of ease? Now, you might have noticed when you came to the call, you might have been jumpy. And now that you hear the sound of my voice, the frequency of our gathering, your willingness to open, your heart starting to open, your body starting to drop down inside of itself. And you're going to get a feeling that you're going to change with the atmosphere of what you came to do tonight. Nicole, are you talking about maybe two different waveforms? She wrote us a note to the group.
Yeah, it feels like I feel one sense being very light and wanting to go up, but it's directly tied to like this jello blobby lump.
Excellent. Now, this is going to help some other people that are actually just trying to feel. So this is excellent. So which one feels most congruent with who you are? And not who you are, you could say, oh, do you mean the self that I am in my personality or my soul? But I would say answer that to whatever feels most real to you right now.
Closer to the blob.
Okay, so we could all probably assume that the blob is going to be your barrier reef, right?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that great? So, so knowing that you want to observe your barrier reef, and how many of you have been snorkeling before?
You can just put a thumbs up or a little wave, whatever's good for you. I
And
know
I'll let you. I'll let you help me with that, Sean. I'm just going to close my eyes and download.
Yeah.
You kind of talk me through what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Megan has snorkeled. So interesting thing about, I mean, the Barrier Reef is there's a couple of massive barrier reefs. There's one in Australia, and they found one in Belize. And they're these massive coral reefs. But any reef that you might encounter while you're snorkeling a reef is going to have a coral and life and fish. And while you're snorkeling, depending on the tide levels, sometimes you can just flat belly it and just let the current take you right over the top, depending on the tide. And other times it might be choppy and you don't have enough space to really float over it. You could get snagged on the coral. You have to really kind of be on your toes because there's things sometimes on the reef that can scratch you. So the image of a reef is really a wonderful way to look at how we've got this inner self that's going snorkeling, right? And that self, even if you haven't been snorkeling, we can take you on a visualization. That self that is going to observe these beautiful colonies of coral and sea life, there's that inner readiness. And then there's the outer experience of seeing the beauty of the reef. Sometimes reefs are dead even though, you can come across a beautiful reef and then only to find one part of it's been destroyed by a hurricane, or those are some of the outer circumstances. Too much sunlight. And it has a visceral effect on you when you've been in a really alive part of the reef and then you see a dead part of the reef. It's a frequency. You just feel like you're hit with an emotional feeling. It would be like, imagine being in a forest and the aliveness of it, and then all of a sudden seeing a bunch of dead trees and life. So today I want you to imagine that there's this mystery of being under the water. There's an anticipation of having a mystique experience, something that you really don't know what you're looking for. There's a feeling of release because in a big way, when you're in the water, you need to be very vigilant of the water, but you do a lot better in it if you can let go. So in your own body, imagine that feeling of where you personally need to release your tension. And Sean's going to actually take you on a visualization to observe what feels like your inner. And that's going to be maybe your constrictions, your dialogue. Is the inner dialogue supportive? Is your inner critic really loud? What kind of support when you go into that empty space? Sometimes we realize that our personality has been really chattery and maybe not beneficial, right? Until it can kind of let you know, oh my goodness, I know why things have been a little hard lately. When I'm quiet within my stillness, the voices of observation are going to let you know where you're at. But at the same time, as any adventure, you have to be really aware of what's happening in the opportunities. If you're not really aware while you're snorkeling, and this might sound scary to you, but it really isn't scary. It's wonderful. There might be a beautiful like eel sitting there just observing you. Or there might be an octopus that, unless you can really see through the less than obvious, it's going to look like the fern that's right next to you. It knows just how to blend into the perfect coloring of its background. You have to see beyond what's obvious, and you have to blend with your intuition. And tonight, if we can take you on a journey of awareness where you sort of take an inventory, collect data today, because what I'm finding is that for most of us, we have all these things we want to create. And people, that's one of the most fabulous things about being in the work that we do, is that we really get to be in people's dream state, what they want to manifest, what they want to heal. And you think that when we bring them back to the everyday self, we find that a lot of our old stories coming up and biting our toes or nipping at our heels. And we didn't even know that some of that programming was running a story that is a constant subliminal message to you. So tonight, try to really feel where the skip in your record might be happening that is sending you a different subliminal message than the one that you've been hoping to program. And I'm going to hand the Zoom over to Sean and have her lead you through this experience of observation, being that inner mermaid on the journey of intuition.
Thank you, Allie.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that you're floating over this barrier reef and the water it's soft and lapping so that you can like really sink into your body. Like it's has a little current, but not much. And you're looking down about 30 feet into the water and you're seeing all these beautiful fish and you're seeing the coral. And as you're looking, you're putting on different perspectives. So it's like changing the kaleidoscope. Imagine changing the kaleidoscope of your eyes and saying, show me, Spirit, what else you can show me in this space. And as you're looking, you see your energy body and your physical body, because we're in observer mode at this time. And just look at yourself wherever you are in this configuration and observe. What does your energy body feel like? Does it feel like a spiky sea urchin? Does it feel like a slimy jellyfish? Does it feel like translucent, beautiful blue fish? Like, what do you feel like? And look at the color. What is that color that you project? What is your primary aura color? Is it messy? Is it muddy? Is it beautiful? Is it clear? Is it pink? Just observe. Take notes, take mental notes. And then you're going to find a way. You're a mermaid now, so your body's transforming as we speak. And you're going to imagine that the door to your energy bubble is like open. And you can go and you can begin to swim around like a beautiful seal or a fish or a mermaid, whatever you feel like you are in this moment, and feel slowly the energy, like as the feminine frequency. We have to flow. So feel the water on your skin and feel how your body is interacting with the water and the energy and the frequency around you. And try to sync up with the water. Try to sync up with the frequency a little bit. And
With
know
your breath. Sorry, Sean. With the breath, I want to invite you all. I can feel a lot of holding of breath. You were doing a great job and you're taking it very seriously, because you're right. You can't breathe under the water. But
that
you're
is true. I'm not a mermaid though.
Yeah, you can really supply your breath, because think of the oxygen that fuels the energy that you're trying to reach. It's really okay. Sorry to interrupt. It's just that I could feel the backup.
It's all good. Yeah, I was starting to feel that.
Okay.
Uh. Hmm. And then ladies, feel like you, as you're breathing deeper and feeling that oxygen in your body and your chakras opening in this space to receive as much information as you can. Swim into your heart space, into the secret cave in your heart. There's beautiful crystals there. And take a deep breath again and letting go of any and all tension that you're starting to hold in your body. Like a backup of nitrogen, just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And as you're sitting in the stillness of your own body, ask for spirit to show you images or words or thoughts about your barriers. What are they? What's keeping you from your greatest life? Is it fear? Doubt of who you are and what you can do? Is it anxiety of the unknown? Like, get really clear about why you haven't taken action in your life. And take a deep breath and just observe it. Don't get attached to it. Don't get upset with it. Just observe it. Good. Keep breathing. Keep getting information. Allowing information, we store things in our organs like filing cabinets. So imagine maybe opening up some of those filing cabinets. They come to the surface and you're like, oh, I didn't realize. Oh, that's really interesting. And like, as you look at them and acknowledge them, hand them over to Archangel Michael and say, I no longer need this. I am opening up my filing cabinets. I'm spring cleaning. I'm making room. I'm looking at the things that I haven't looked at in so long. And you might have lots of cabinets. You might have a vault. You might have spaces that are really dusty, and just observe them, whatever feels appropriate to have. It'll open itself. You don't have to open anything. Keep breathing. Breathing in your body. And as these things come up, begin to alchemize them. Because this is actually the work. When Allie and I say this is do the work is actually alchemy. It's taking things of a lower vibration of what you've had in your filing cabinets and turning it into a higher frequency with your will, your intent, and your authority. So with your will and your intent, call forth those things that no longer serve you and turn them into a new frequency of love. So imagine as they come up even faster now, they're just touching with bubbles of love, and they dissolve and they go up to the source from which got created, and they're going to be recycled back to you. Cleared, cleansed, healed, detoxified, and in present energy, present moment. Yes. It's the concept of the phoenix. You have to release energy to create new energy. So pull up the stories that you've been spinning with, that you've been poor all your life, and that's what you're going to stay, and you're not going to be anything more than what you are or your parents are. Release that story, alchemize that story. Yes, great. Alchemize a story that you're not good enough.
What does that mean? How
That
does somebody alchemize a story that they're not good enough? Invite them into a process.
okay. So imagine taking that would be a book that you have within you, like literally it's a very thick book of all the reasons why you feel not good enough. And imagine taking that book and putting it in a bubble of golden light. And then that golden light comes in and floods every page of that book and changes all of those words from density into light. And then that golden light turns into pink light. And that pink light turns into golden light and platinum light. And pretty soon it's sparkly dust.
Let's slow it down a little bit. So let's rewind a little bit. But the idea is good and her pace was fine because you got the general feeling that you're going to have a alchemical shift. And what does alchemy mean? It's turning one thing into another. And it's really turning something that is not usable to you right now into something that becomes a desirable outcome. Does that feel right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? You can think with that, right?
Mhm.
And then you can feel your body sort of click into that. So let's use Sean's inspiration and her instinct. So let's say, well, Sean, where do we find the book, right? That could be a good first question. So let's take you to your Akashic records. Does everybody know what your Akashic records are? It's fun to learn the vocabulary of spirit. You know, it's like Sean and I were giggling. This is magic school, right? This is like the old ancient mystery schools. So what are the Akashic records? And if you know, you can share it in chat. And if you don't know, you can put a question mark if you know where chat is. So think the wisdom of ourselves. Yeah, it's the story, it's the library of the sum of your existences. And on the earth plane, it's the sum of your lifetimes. Because you really do have many other parallel existences that are not on earth. And that's not for tonight. But think of the Akashic records as being the sum of your karmas. At each book is another lifetime. So let's imagine that we're going to a golden library, much like Sean was explaining. And I want you to just sort of teleport yourself into that space where there's all these books. Okay. And she gave us a little hint of where we're going. So it's always nice. I love that we have a hint. She gave us the clue. So in your mind's eye, I want you to get a sense that you've been teleported to an ancient library. And that is not necessarily on Earth, but it's in the realms beyond what you need to know. You just know that you're in a realm of golden pillars and there's a glow. And that glow is the all-seeing knowledge of source energy, where we have the conversations of source that you hear from me every 2 weeks and I download for you. So it looks like a thicker atmosphere. And if you get closer, it is a blending of the golden and platinum ray, because on earth plane, we're 3-dimensional, which means everything's contrast. And that would be the masculine and the feminine as well. So you see these little flecks of this beautiful platinum and gold ray. And you know that no matter what happened in all these books, they're part of the lessons of your learning. And so, even though within them might contain some gnarly lessons, some things that you want to push away from you, for tonight, I want you to call upon one lesson, not all the stories of all that you ever were to magically delete. That's really not what we're here to do on earth anyway. We're here to feel the contrast and then make the choice to choose differently. So never be hard on yourself for the fact that you're learning lessons and that not everything that you want is right before you, because it's part of what you chose to do is learn. So be in joy right now and choose a book, and you'll find that you might want to peruse the bookshelves. You might see that they go up vertically and you want to get on one of those fun ladders that, goes across the shelves. Just have fun, play, but bring Sean and I back a book and bring it back to this most beautiful, like old-fashioned reading desk that you would imagine an old monk would sit at. And it's illuminated with all this natural light. And when you have the book, let us know you've got it. And yes, I see your comments, the wisdom of ourselves, our self-story, 100% right. And breathe, everybody breathe, because as we breathe together, we actually build this amazing frequency to supply each other with what's missing in ourselves. It's just fabulous. Okay, so Megan's got her book. So Megan, just kind of sit there with it for a moment and just let it just marinate in your hands, like you feel so grateful. And just allow yourself to not make this hard, okay? Sometimes we get too literal. Just shake your body. And if you haven't got a book, just, bleep one in. You ready? We're going in, like it or not. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I want you to either, as if you're sitting in lotus or if you're at the desk, I want you to let that book fall open. And when it falls open, feel your heart. And I want you to call upon the grief of that which you have not allowed yourself to awaken in your life, in your body. It could be freedom to be. It could be so many things: to be loved, to love, to actually allow yourself to trust, to love. It could be to have the freedom to create your financial prosperity. It could be more time is valuable for yourself, to have your alone time. But allow your body to tell you what it hasn't achieved and what you so very much know you need to work on. And when you're ready, I want you to write that down for Sean in the chat. And be aware that sometimes anxiety comes up with this little, niggling fear. And so thank it for sharing. Thank it for showing you it's there. Now you might find you have 12. Just pick one though, okay? Just one for tonight. It doesn't have to be your biggest issue. Sometimes we want to start with our little ones to know that we can actually tackle it. It can be things like being a victim, right? It could be being defensive. having to be right, not trusting that you can save your money, not trusting that if you spend your money, you can make more money, not trusting that you're safe. That's a good one, Nicole. Okay, Sean, now I want you to take over and do the clearing. But yeah, we have to allow and observe. I encourage you to not clear so quickly, okay? We're in a society right now that doesn't allow ourselves to be in the discomfort.
It's a very good point, Allie.
Okay, thank you.
A very good point. And I actually didn't even see us going to the Akashic Records when the book came up. So that's why we're a great team.
Yeah, and it's good that 'cause you're so
Yeah.
flexible if I see something deeper and patient. So thank you as well, because it is a great inspiration that you have. And we just want to drill some of these things down into making it an experience that you actually can use to heal. Because if we rush through, it's, Megan is a yoga instructor. She could be able to tell us that people don't just automatically come in being able to do downward dog. I mean, some people do, but some of those people have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome too. Like, they're too flexible. It's like there's a process to the unfolding that we meet what is ours to work on by meeting the resistance, by meeting the discomfort that just feels so bad and so frustrating, especially if we're calling you to look at something that has felt bad for a long time. And you're like, oh, wait, we're gonna go there. I want to feel better. I'm tired of the shadow work. But you'll see, you'll have a bigger release, a bigger segue into this journey that
Yes.
we're luring you into. And you want to have the journey. Don't give up your journeys. Like it's really nice to just walk to the beach and have a sunset. But sometimes it's the trail through the trees and crossing the brook and seeing that there's light poking through that's luring you to that beach that is more meaningful many times than just the beach, right? Be willing to travel, be willing to do the work, be willing to invest in yourselves, to be patient, be willing to not be so feisty. Like allow yourself to go to the Mecca. Like find beauty in who you become along the way and take lots of pictures of that. It's fun. It's fun to see how you evolve. So let's take it from here. Now that we've given you some time to dredge it up, and so let's take it from here and have Sean redo that clearing. But it's so cool how we got kind of right? As the was like, oh, like you could feel it wasn't right. It was like being like, don't birth my baby yet. like baby's not ready to come out. Now as it comes down the birth canal, you're like, I want to see what's underneath that. And it doesn't even have to be that you cleared it. You might be birthing it into your lap so you can start the journey, right? So you can start looking at the experiences that are going to come up for you, that are going to meet you along the way in the next couple of weeks, right? And then they might be in your face, but you'll find, oh, I'm not arguing for my limitations the same, right? I'm more present and accepting that this is a journey instead of like, how come I didn't get that done last week? So few breaths of returning back from your mind to the level of your heart. I'm going to say that 3 times. There you go. Oh, I feel the tension. I mean, like, it's palpable. So do not judge yourself for that. But we're going to hear this recording later with some breath. Let's come back into that busy mind and let's say, I don't know how it's going to get down in my heart, but I'm willing for my busy thoughts to start to take that journey down. So let them drop down the elevator to your heart. See, that is the difference. Now we're in our heart, and I'm passing the baton to Sean.
Thank you. So I really feel led to share a little personal piece here that I think as we dredge up really intense emotions, when I was going through my divorce and I had so much grief that I didn't know if I was going to survive, like literally, Spirit said to me, lean back into your grief. And it was so painful. And the concept of even thinking about leaning back into my grief instead of running away from it or shutting it off or pushing through it or moving around it. But when Spirit said, you have to lean back into your grief. And I remember one night when I didn't know if I was going to make it through the night with all the grief, I leaned back into my grief. And if you can use that imagery as these big emotions come up and you open your body and allow the energy to come through your body and out of your body in a wave, just try that. Whatever emotion comes up right this second, instead of leaning away from it, lean back into it and allow your breath. Just breathe and allow it to move through you and work on relaxing your body. Just like you're going to have an amazing orgasm, relax your body and allow the energy to flow through your body, opening even further and allowing more energy to leave. And you stick with it until the wave is past. And you'll feel the wave pass because it'll like pull up from your toes and then it's like comes all the way through your body and you're like, ah. So let's do another breath together. And think about one of those barriers and the judgments around those and the feelings. And allow the feeling to come up in your body. Yes. Open your body even more and breathe. Whatever the feeling is, watch it like a cloud. Breathing and opening and letting go. And your body will feel like it gets more and more open. So as you open more, fill the space with divine light, diamond platinum source light. So fill your cells, your mitochondria, your red blood cells, your white blood cells, your nervous system with new frequency. Yeah. And then another wave, allow another wave to come up. Shame is coming up. So allow shame, the feeling of shame, unattached to the feeling of shame, the wave of shame, come through your body. Allow it to start at the bottom of your body and come up like a wave. Lean back into it. Open your throat as it comes up. Allow your brain to expand a little bit and release the energy. And another emotion or feeling will be behind that. You could do this for days until you're done, and then it'll show up occasionally. And then you just do the same process. emptying out the energy of your body that you no longer need and bringing in new frequency. Allie, I feel complete with that.
I'm going to go into a specific download
Mhm.
as a conversation with Source, and Sean, feel free to make a small 10-minute meditation out of this.
Okay.
So everyone, deepen our breaths and just welcome you to this moment in your life that you have attracted the specific instruction to break contracts in your life that you have made at other time space continuums, whether it was past lives, whether it was parallel realities, whether it was other timelines. All of these things are possible in the quantum field. And so just open yourself up to the fact that your physical mind doesn't really know exactly why you are currently wired the way that you are, why you're currently attracting the relationships that you are, the situations that are arising, the experiences that are coming before you that are offering lessons for you to really observe what is working for you in your life and what frequencies need to be altered, what beliefs need to be adjusted, what thoughts need to be rewired, what feelings need to be reconstructed, so that you can break any contracts, known or unknown, that you're operating from, that are literally like codes to a computer program, which is you, that are either serving your higher good or they are serving your demise. You know, we swing on this pendulum in the third dimension of polar opposites. So it really is like that. It's like, what's tearing me apart and what is lifting me up? And then some of it you're just going to kind of wiggle in the middle in that gray. But do observe that you have the power to break any contract that is not serving you at any time. And how you do that is with the truth of who you are. And you can listen to this at any time and break any contract that you have agreed to because of a circumstance. Some of these things you can tell me or tell yourself or tell each other, it's not my fault. This happened to me. We know. Trust me, we know. We know. The important thing is that you know. That you know that all the things that are happening to you right now that you perceive as outside of yourself are coming from a thought that already exists, from a belief and a program that is inside of yourself. So when you can start to delete and identify the programs that are running that are keeping you from that highest good that you are, if you understand that you have that power at any given moment to delete that which is not working in your favor, what happens is the pressure valve within you that is feeling stuck turns the dial in the direction of relief. And so I offer that to you right now to call upon that which is the perfect creation. There is a creation of you, a version of you that has been created in God's image, in source energy. The light of all that is good is within you. And when we've been raised in hardship, and when we've gone through doubt, and when we feel a lack of self-love, and when we're not sure how other people are valuing us, they're like notches in the tree of the axe that sometimes feels like it's chopping us off at the knees. And although that feels real at some times, it's not really true. And so I invite you to call yourself back to the truth of who you are in this now moment, knowing that just hearing the frequency of my voice, hearing my words, that you can have an aha moment without even knowing how to do it, because the grace of God is coming through the frequency of the sound that you're hearing, this calling to yourself, to your soul, to remember who she is. And that's all she needs to know tonight, is to recommit to the journey that is one of love, the one that is the highest version of all the timelines, all the files of your quantum physics, all the possibilities of you. There's a timeline that is your most optimal. Choose that. And you say, Ali, I don't know what that looks like because I don't really feel good about myself and blah, 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 and I don't know how to do that. Then say this: I don't know how to choose that timeline. I haven't been very good at choosing that timeline, but I'm willing to see it different in this now moment. And so I don't know what my future journey is going to look like. I don't know what that next step is going to be. But I trust that because I'm willing to see it different, and I can feel that in the feeling in my body right now. I can feel it as a feeling in my body right now. And that feeling is the waveform. It's the sine wave. It's the frequency that is enough to start your journey into the belief that it's going to take to make the very thing that you have no idea how to heal, how to create, how to optimize, how to alchemize. You just need to say yes. So in this moment, I want you to just say yes, 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 yes. Just hear me. Yes, 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 yes. And remove all the no, 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 no. So hear yourself say, delete, 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 delete. And again, yes, 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 yes. And that last little segment of yeses, did you notice it felt different? It did. And it felt different because there was a switch that went on when you decided to not know how it was going to happen, that you wanted it to happen was enough. And so I want to encourage you, as you move past tonight, to re-listen to this reminder, and to also remember how important it is to keep yourself calibrated to your true north. And you may not always know how to get there in feeling, because we get wonky. We all get wonky. Our neurotransmitters go crazy. Our circumstances go off. But I want you tonight to rip up any contracts. So in your mind's eye, rip up any scrolls, any written contracts, any unwritten contracts. Anything that you see that could be an imaginary thing that looks like it could be a contract and it's coming towards you, grab a hold of it and rip it up and let it fall to the ground. Don't worry about burning it. Don't worry about picking up the papers. Just let it go so freely that you know that the universe has got your back, that the angels have got their brooms ready to sweep it up for you. That right now, we know you're a good helper. Don't help us clean it up. Let Spirit give you circumstances, give you miracles, give you new reflections. And let's live in the mystery. I want to hear your stories. You're going to tell me stories. You are going to write stories to us and say, you know, I did feel something happening. There was something like in me that felt a little different. I did really get what you were saying. I could feel it in my body. You will tell me. You will tell Sean. You will tell us. Because you are going to have experiences, I promise you, that are going to be a direct result of what we're doing tonight. And I just bless you for that. And I thank Creator for that. And I thank Source Energy for the inspiration, because we did not plan. Just let Source Energy run this call. And I just want to say that it's going to be really fun to see what comes of it. And bless you. I feel complete. Good night, lady. I hope it was amazing for you. I feel it changing my own codes, my own cellular DNA.
Mm-hmm. It was unexpected where they took it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Ladies, we love you. We can't wait to see you, all of you, hopefully at the retreat on Catalina in May. So coming right up. And that's all we have for tonight. Have a lovely night.
Drink lots of water. I feel you we definitely, I guess, the salt water
Right.
something dehydrated you, but I don't usually say that at the end of a call, but I did notice that. Continue to breathe and feed yourself some electrolytes and some water tonight. Maybe a little salt on your tongue.
Mhm.
Bless you, bless you, bless you. Thank you for coming. It was you that brought us this call. So I want to thank you for being so powerful, because tonight's call was very powerful. I think definitely for me it was. So I hope it was for you too.
Mhm. Good night, ladies.